Honorable Minister, Deputy Minister, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and also to the team that is accompanying the Minister. Today we have the Minister of Public Works, and I need to indicate, colleagues, that we are very excited, actually, as GCIS, because this is our noble moment where we are hosting the Minister of Public Works and the Deputy Minister for the first time at our facility. Minister, we want to take this opportunity on behalf of the GCIS and the Deputy Minister to welcome you to this government facility. Colleagues, as we have indicated earlier, the Minister was part of the delegation that was accompanying the President in his interaction with the delegation from Finland on a state visit. Hence, we had to delay a little bit, but we're happy, Minister, you are here. My name is William Baloyi from GCIS. I am temporarily being instructed by my colleague, Lennox Mabasa, that you will be interacting with on regular basis on issues of public works. So he is here with us. We've already shared his contacts with members of the media. I know some of you might want to see that handsome gentleman. You will see him once we are done, so that you know who you are talking to. On that note, colleagues, allow me to call upon the Minister of Public Works, Mr. Sihle Zikalala, who would be leading the briefing. Thank you very much, Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Baloyi. Greetings to you. May I take this opportunity to also extend our greetings to our Deputy Minister, yourself, Mr. Baloyi, as well as the senior officials from the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure. Greetings to the members of the media. Our humble greetings to all of you. It is our honor to welcome you all to our first substantive engagement with members of the Fourth Estate on our work as the new leadership of the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure. In the past few weeks following our appointment, we have had the opportunity to take stock of various departmental operations and conducted visits to some of the sites where the department is doing work. It is indeed evident that the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure is a key role player in economic recovery and reconstruction plan. This is a department at the center of driving the implementation of South Africa's blueprint, the National Development Plan. Central to the work of the department is the urgent need to speed up the implementation of the infrastructure project to achieve economic and social transformation. We are a government that is envisioning a new economic architecture where job creation, participation of local supply into the construction, maintenance, and property management value chain is regarded as a norm than an expectation. Our programs must contribute in reversing spatial exclusion and lead to the empowerment of women, disabled people, and youth-owned companies in the property and infrastructure sector. The message that we have sent to the department and all our stakeholders is that we must usher in a new era of delivering project on time, within budget, and our project must be of high quality. The department must not be associated with poor infrastructure delivery and spending. We intend to move swiftly in responding to project delays and implementing interventions to remove obstacles hindering infrastructure delivery in South Africa. We view infrastructure as a catalyst to job creation. As you may be aware, in May 2020, Cabinet approved Infrastructure Investment Plan, a credible pipeline of projects from all three spheres of government, state-owned entities, and the private sector. In tandem, Cabinet also approved the establishment of the Infrastructure South Africa as an infrastructure center of excellency and a single point of entry for infrastructure planning, management, and delivery. The Infrastructure Investment Plan is a plan that was unpacked or presented by His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa as part of economic recovery and reconstruction plan. The Infrastructure Investment Plan articulates the country's need for an infrastructure-led economic growth and recovery. The plan identifies projects in all provinces concentrated in the network industries with the ability to attract private sector financing and funding. Completing the plan with legal, technical, and financial mechanism required to fast-track its implementation. The Infrastructure Investment Plan focuses on ensuring that there is a sustainable, efficient, reliable, and affordable infrastructure that enables economic growth, accelerates the creation of jobs across economic sectors such as water infrastructure, network, agriculture, social, and human settlement infrastructure. As the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure Development, we are also focused on building of a new and upgrading of existing infrastructure, as well as repurposing the maintenance of neglected buildings. In this sixth administration, a total of 88 strategic infrastructure projects have been gazetted by the government. We wish to report that through Infrastructure South Africa, we have amassed a pipeline of green hydrogen projects with a value of over 300 billion. This project pipeline is undergoing project preparation support to make it ready for implementation. Among these projects is Boegoebaai Green Hydrogen Project in the Northern Cape Province. This project will support the Boegoebaai Airport and the railway program. This hydrogen project has a potential to create an additional 35,000 work opportunities once it commences and all feasibility studies are completed. The Prieska Power Reserve project in Northern Cape is also a catalyst project that will begin producing green hydrogen and ammonia in 2026. This project is anticipated to create more than 10,500 jobs during the construction and the operational phases. The department gazetted 62 projects as the strategic integrated project in July 2020 and a further 26 in December 2023. These projects hold significant value in terms of growing our economy and our country's developmental needs. A number of projects are completed, such as various projects in KwaZulu-Natal, road projects in KwaZulu-Natal, Free State and Limpopo, housing projects in Gauteng, and many other projects across the country are in construction and procurement phases. Some of these are the following. Phase 2 of Weli Sizwe Rural Bridges Program will commence this month. We plan to build 96 bridges in total and 4 bridges per quarter to enable rural communities in Eastern Cape, Mpumalanga, Limpopo, Free State, Northwest and KwaZulu-Natal to safely access schools, workplaces, and public amenities. About 3.8 billion is allocated for the program over the medium term. The construction of enabling bulk infrastructure, such as roads and water component of Lufthereng mixed-use development in Gauteng will begin in July of this year. It will support the development of about 31,000 mixed housing units. Across or access roads for Umzimvubu water project in Eastern Cape are nearing completion. The construction of Tabelanga Dam, which is part of this project, will begin later this year. In the Eastern Cape, site establishment of the Klein William Dam rising project is completed. All surface work and 15% of all concrete work will be completed by the end of this year. The total value of project completed thus far is 21.4 billion, mainly in road and human settlement. The total value of project currently in construction stands at 313.5 billion rands. Projects in procurement stage are standing at 295.2 billion rands. When it comes to specific project update, please allow us to provide these updates. With regard to entry highway upgrade, overall progress indicate that the construction upgrading on the Sanral entry highway is progressing well, with most of key milestones achieved. We anticipate work on the upgrade of the N3 Ashburton interchange to Murray Road and the capacity improvement of the N2, N3 interchange to start in May of this year. Capacity improvement on the N2, N3 interchange, Sanral Board approved the award to the contract and therefore will surely start this May. The upgrade of N3 from Marine Hill Toll Plaza to Key Ridge, the designs were submitted in December of 2022, and the work is being finalized with regard to designs. With regard to N2 Wild Coast Highway, a new tender was issued and evaluated by DBSA as per the Sanral Board resolution. The board approved the award and the contractor handover took place in January of this year. Work is targeted to start in May of this year. Salvokop precinct project installation of bulk infrastructure is ongoing, including the earthwork, trenching, and reservoir work being underway. Raising of Hazelmere Dam is progressing well, and it is aimed at augmenting the water supply to the KZN North Coast by raising the dam wall by 7 meters. The project is now 100% complete. Vaal River system, including phase 2 of the Lesotho Highway or Highland Water Project, the construction of advanced infrastructure is in progress. The Polyhali Dam and Sandley Dam, the construction commencement date was the 23rd of November 2022. The Polyhali to Katse Transfer Tunnel, the commencement of the construction was December 5, 2022. Umkomazi Water Project, this 24 billion water augmentation project is at an advanced stage of preparation. The environmental authorization and approved pre-construction environmental management program are in place for the water conveyance infrastructure and the Smithfield Dam. The public sector is projected to spend about 903 billion on infrastructure over the medium term. The largest portion of this is around 448 billion will be spent by the state-owned entities, and these include working through the public-private partnership. The infrastructure investment plan, as I said, was presented as an integral part of the economic reconstruction and recovery plan announced by His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa. With regard to repositioning the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure as an implementing agent of choice, we can report that the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure is responsible for all government properties. The department is involved in the maintenance of all government buildings. The department is or has been a target of unscrupulous service providers who at times will rob the department through shoddy workmanship, project stoppages, claiming liquidation of companies, poor contractor performance management, and many other issues that impact negatively on the performance of the department, which also affect our delivery of services to our client department and to the community in general. We are putting interventions in place to remove the stigma that this department is a treasure nest of all sorts of things, in particular corruption. We're setting new standard to inform service level agreement with lease buildings, especially focus on maintenance and smart facilities. Going forward, we will account on all our planned infrastructure projects, introduce early warning systems, and respond timelessly to project blockages. With regard to hijacking of project sites, we will be meeting with the economic sabotage unit set up within the police to deal with economic crimes, including the rise or the rising phenomenon of the so-called construction mafia, who invade, intimidate, and disrupt delivery of projects on the ground. We reiterate that everyone is allowed to partake in economic activity in the country, but this must be done in a legal and orderly fashion. It can't be done through hooliganism, and we are not going to tolerate those who are disrupting construction in various sites whether those sites are belonging to government or the private sector. We'll continue to engage communities on how they can benefit from the construction project and the entire value chain. Equally, we will mobilize communities to work with law enforcement to fight corruption, crime, and the construction mafia who are sabotaging the delivery of infrastructure, thus hampering job creation. With regard to the update on land released by the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, under the Land Reform Program, the department, as a custodian of national state-owned land, is often requested to release land to settle land claim for restitution, for human settlement development, and for land redistribution as part of government's land reform program. Land redress is one of the key drivers to achieving spatial and economic justice, and ensure that public land is used for public goods. The release of 2.8 hectares of land in the Msunduzi municipality in KwaZulu-Natal to the Housing Development Agency for Human Settlement Development and the formalization of an existing settlement. The department also released 1,199 hectares of land valued at approximately 7.4 million to assist in settling a land restitution claim in Mpumalanga in the area of Kapchikup. The latest release of land in KwaZulu-Natal of about 18 land parcel measuring 533 hectares for the purpose of accommodating communities, including those who were displaced by floods in 2022. Two other properties measuring 511 hectares valued at approximately 10 million in Mpumalanga for the Bembe community, and another two properties in Northwest measuring 1,539 hectares valued at approximately 8 million in Mechereng communities were also released. With regard to small ports development and points of entry, you may be aware the construction and maintenance of the land port of entry fall under the control of the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure. We have recently visited the Bale Bridge to inspect the border fence that was constructed during the outbreak of COVID-19. We also received reports on our infrastructure and maintenance projects from client departments such as the South African Police Service, the South African Defence Force, and the Department of Home Affairs, which have subsequently delegated that task to the Border Management Authority. We are still traversing other areas. We wish to state upfront that the issue of the state of our land port of entry, the level of infrastructure, rendering of borders of support to our borders is, of course, considered to be porous, and that is receiving our maximum priority attention as the department, working together with sister departments such as Home Affairs and the South African National Defence Force. The following cross-border intervention projects are being implemented. Firstly is the construction of Emanguzi police station. This project is expected to be completed in June 2023. The construction of the concrete border fence known as Jersey barriers commenced, and this will thwart the criminal syndicate that steal cars and transport them across the borders. The 6 point of entry being prioritized to improve border management and security include Beit Bridge, Fixback Bridge, which connects South Africa and Lesotho, Kopfontein, Libombo, Mozambique and South Africa, Maseru, and Oshwook, which is Eswatini and South Africa. With regard to state of small harbors, as part of our contribution to the ocean economy under Operation Pakisa, as the department, we have been doing work in building and refurbishment of small declared harbors along the 4 coastal provinces of our country. To date, the department has spent a total of about 500 million on the special intervention, repair and maintenance program to the proclaimed fishing harbors in the Western Cape. The entire program thus far has created a total of 672 jobs and empowered local SMMEs companies to the value of over 60 million. In the quest for the development of new small harbors, the department is in the process of finalizing the in-kind grant from the Chinese government to conduct feasibility studies along the coastal lines of the Northern Cape, Eastern Cape, and KwaZulu-Natal. With regard to office and rental accommodation for the executives, which fall under our Prestige program, as the department, we continue to provide accommodation for the executive of our country, the head of judiciary, as well as members of parliament. The review of some of the issues and elements involved in this matter are receiving the priority of the executive arm of government, and we will in due course respond comprehensively on this matter. Our approach is that we should be prudent and cut any unnecessary expenditure that are identified in order to save as much of public money as possible. We are submitting our proposals to the executive in response to this area of our work. With regard to the announcement of the release of the request for proposal for the first procurement round under the Integrated Renewable Energy and Resource Efficient Program, we wish to announce that the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, working together with the Ministry of Electricity and supported by the National Treasurer's Government Technical Advisory Center, we have released the first request for proposal under the Integrated Renewable Energy and Resource Efficient Program. This program will be the largest program for procurement of the renewable energy and resource efficiency for public facilities on the African continent. This project was gazetted as a strategic integrated project in July 2020 as part of the infrastructure investment plan, which was approved by Cabinet. The release of this phase 1 comes at an opportune moment, with government remaining steadfast in eradicating the electricity and water supply challenges and the rampant landfill shortages our country continues to suffer. This program will introduce up to 3,740 megawatts of equivalent capacity through renewable energy and efficiency initiatives, while saving 47 million kiloliters of water and reducing waste to landfill by 1 million tons. It will further alleviate at least 3,740 megawatts from the national grid through this program. And therefore, we aim to contribute to reducing load shedding at least by 3 stages, and this will provide the potential added capacity, which is about 2 Koeberg power plants. This plan or project has the potential to achieve significant savings in government expenditure and contribute towards socio-economic transformation over its 30-year term. Projected savings and socio-economic benefits from this program include the following. 1, up to 1.3 trillion rands direct contribution to the GDP, the creation of over 13,100 new small businesses. We expect that majority of those will be Black-owned enterprises. An estimated 503,000 jobs to be created. Skills development opportunities for more than 475,000 people. A reduction in energy use intensity of between 22 to 45 in the public sector. A water use intensity reduction of between 30 to 55% in public sector. A reduction in waste and diversion of about 50% of the current waste from landfill site, saving 12 million tons, and a reduction of CO2 and other greenhouse carbon emission by over 54.5 megatons. And therefore, we are contributing in ensuring that we move toward the green energy. We are committed to the work of growing our economy through infrastructure, and we shall remain open, transparent, and accountable to Parliament, but also to the people of South Africa. Hence, we have convened this platform to present this update. I therefore wish to thank you all for being with us. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Minister, for the comprehensive update that you provided from the Department of Public Works. Normally, we request first questions from colleagues who are inside the briefing session, and then we also take questions later on our online systems. Maybe let me check if by way of hand, if there is any question in the house. I don't, okay. The normal standard procedure, you introduce yourself and maybe your media house, then you ask your question. Please make sure that you just press that button there, and then it will show a red sign, and then you can be able to ask. Thank you very much.
My name is Brennan Lamine from the Sunday Times. Just I just need to understand what is the status for the with the fence project, the project that the minister went to see in the border. What is the status? Is the budget for it, for what is government's plan about that project? What is the key component? Thank you.
Thank you, Fenil. Thank you very much. Any other hand that I might not see? Thank you very much. Let us then check our online questions.
We have two questions for the minister so far from Christian Duplessis at Netwerk 24. Please give a brief oversight of the whole process that still needs to be followed as part of the IREP program, and how long it will take to add this 3,740 megawatts to the national grid. The second question, what are the BEE requirements in relation to the IREP program? The second question is from Khomotso Modise at Eyewitness News. Could the minister please shed light on how much has been budgeted to addressing the porous borders and the listed ports of entry? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Minister, those are the questions that we have, both from the room and also online. So Minister will give guidance in terms of who would come. I see Minister is showing to the Deputy Minister, colleagues of the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, Mayor Bernice Swartz. Deputy Minister. Deputy Minister, unfortunately, you have to come here as all the sounds are connected here.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Good afternoon to everyone, the media members and officials here. I'm going to respond on the status of the Beitbridge project. As you know, the minister went there, but that even before the minister went to visit the project site itself, is that project had a whole lot of issues in that the procurement of the Beitbridge process itself had a lot of issues in it. I'm sure that you are aware as the media that there were two companies involved and Public Works tried to recoup the money. So in terms of the status itself, is that us as Public Works, we feel that Public Works is an implementer because we become a service provider to the rest of government. But where we are seated at is that our borders are very important to the government of South Africa. So we as DPWI, through the minister, have decided that all the role players, which is the Defense Department itself and Home Affairs, should come on board, because the procurement of border fences cannot be a DPWI process on its own. Because we have seen that with the type of fence that was used at Beitbridge, that the type of procurement that was done was not in fact the proper fencing that's supposed to be done. Now, when you do a fencing of a border, it's got implications of security. So you then need to come up with all the players who take part on making sure that our borders are safe, making sure that our borders are not porous. So where we are at now is that the minister is going to engage the relevant departments, especially the Defense Department, so that they are the custodians of making sure that we do not have porous borders. SAPS also needs to come in, but the minister is in the process of making sure that all the relevant players come into play, especially also Home Affairs. Border management is also going to be engaged by the minister. So once the minister has brought all the relevant players on board, I'm sure that the minister will come back here again and inform the media what is it that is going to take us forward. But for now, the minister was there, and I'm sure you have seen when he was also there, the media was there, that the project is not good because of the fencing that was put in during that time. In fact, that we can say that there is no fence because the fence was not the type of fence that was proper, that can actually prevent people even from taking out that fence. So that one we admit as DPWI, as the contractors were the ones that we found there, but as we know that consequence management also took place on this project here. Thank you very much.
Thanks. With regard to the question about the budget for the land point of entry, we are going to provide a comprehensive budget later in the statement, but I've presented all borders where we are going to conduct upgrades. We will want to achieve the highest and a very good standard, which will ensure that all departments that work as part of border management are serviced and provided all necessary facilities and equipments to do their work. As DM have said, the departments that are leading us in this regard is the Department of Home Affairs through its Border Management Authority, the Department of Defense, and the Department of the South African Police Service, as well as SARS. So all of them must work in an environment that is conducive, and we must ensure that they are provided all necessary facilities. And I'm sure some of you may attest that the congestion you saw in December last year at Beitbridge and what you saw during the Easter holidays this year was not the same. And we have committed to the Department of Home Affairs as well as the Border Management Authority that will ramp up the services that we are providing. And that's why we are saying we will be going back to Beitbridge. And in that regard, we will be guided by the availability of the Minister of Home Affairs so that we go together and ensure that all their needs are provided. With regard to, maybe to add on the Beitbridge, that was one project that we can say was implemented without prior planning. And that's why we've said the Department of Defense must conduct a detailed feasibility study on what they would propose to be the border fence so that we construct what is expected at the level that is expected. Coming to the issue of IREP, I must say that in this regard, we're calling a conference of all bidders and those who are interested to present a detailed plan to all of them so that they will understand that what structure do we want to use and how we are going to implement the phases or the regulations in as far as the status of BEE and everything involved. And all of that will be presented on the 18th of May, and we will provide the venue for that. The RFP will be released early next week. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DM and Minister. Colleagues, maybe before I adjourn the briefing, may I see by any show of hand if we still have any question in the house? Gone. Okay, and Vanessa, do we have anything online?
No, sir. Sir, we do not have any more questions.
Thank you very much. Minister DM, normally after the briefing, we do accommodate the one-on-one interviews for the different media houses. So they normally request. So those who would want the one-on-ones, my colleague Lennox is here. Lennox, can they see you, Baba? Those who might not know. There is my colleague Lennox. You might see him so that he can quickly make sure that he scheduled those one-on-one. On that note, thank you very much, everyone, for coming to the press briefing. Thank you for members of the Fourth Estate for your presence and your participation. And thank you very much, Minister NTM. This session is adjourned.
Put my phone. This one. Yeah, yeah.